Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission is pretty simple. You've got the source material, all the articles, the research, maybe your own notes, and well, our job is to jump right in, pull out the really important stuff, the key knowledge, and basically help you get up to speed fast. Think of it as your shortcut through all the noise.
And for this deep dive, we're really zooming in on some very specific, but let's say critically important atmospheric things. We're stepping away a bit from the really broad global climate patterns, general meteorology, and looking instead at certain local winds and the specific weather they tend to create. And all the insights are coming straight from the material you've provided us with.
Exactly. And this isn't just like interesting weather facts. These are actual real-world conditions that pilots have to deal with. So for anyone out there prepping for their ATPL theory exams, getting your head around these specific wind systems is, well, it's non-negotiable, really. Our aim here is to break down what the sources are telling us, flag up what's most likely going to appear on those exams, and explain why knowing this stuff is so vital for, practical flying. It's like tuning your ear to the local dialects of the weather.
What's really fascinating here is seeing how the local geography, the mountains, the valleys, how they interact with the bigger pressure systems that cook up these pretty unique effects. These aren't just, slight variations. They have really distinct characteristics that can seriously impact your flight planning, aircraft performance, comfort even, and definitely safety. Getting these details right for your exams means you're actually building a solid foundation for understanding the conditions you might genuinely face out there. So let's dive into the specifics.
All right, let's kick things off with a real classic example of how mountains can just completely change the air temperature. I'm talking about Föhn-type winds. Now, the Föhn effect itself, that's a pretty fundamental concept in meteorology, right? But the source material we have here gives us this fantastic diagram, figure 21.1, that really lays out the mechanism visually. It walks you through it step by step. And seeing it like that, it just makes it stick, doesn't it?
It really does. The basic idea, the core principle, is you've got air that's being forced to flow up and over some kind of mountain barrier. So on the windward side, that's the side facing into the wind, the air gets lifted. As it goes up, the pressure around it drops, which makes the air parcel itself expand. Now, that expansion uses energy, and since it's not getting heat from anywhere else, its own temperature falls. That's your adiabatic cooling.
Right. And at first, assuming the air isn't saturated, it cools at what's called the dry adiabatic lapse rate, which is roughly, 3 degrees Celsius for every 1,000 feet, or about 9.8 Celsius per kilometer.
Precisely. But as this air keeps rising and keeps cooling, it'll eventually hit its dew point temperature. That's the point where it can't hold any more water vapor. It's saturated. So any more cooling means condensation starts happening. This is where you see clouds forming, often like a cap sitting over the windward slopes or the mountain crest. And if there's enough moisture and enough lift, you can get rain or snow falling on that windward side.
Okay, and once that condensation kicks in, the cooling rate changes, doesn't it? Because there's heat being released in the process. Latent heat.
It's exactly right. Latent heat release. So the air, it's still rising, it's still cooling, but now it cools more slowly, following the saturated adiabatic lapse rate. Now, this rate isn't fixed. It depends on temperature and pressure, but it's always less than the dry rate, often somewhere around, say, 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius per 1,000 feet, maybe a bit more sometimes. So it's cooling down slower because turning water vapor into liquid water actually releases a bit of heat back into the air parcel. The diagram, that figure 21.1, it shows this whole process. On the left side, you see the cloud base forming, maybe precipitation over the peaks there.
Okay, so picture this. The air's gone up the windward side. It might have dumped a fair bit of its moisture as rain or snow. Now it goes over the top, crests the mountain, and starts heading down the other side, the leeward side, the sheltered side. What's happening on the descent?
This is where the magic happens, the characteristic warming. As the air sinks, the pressure around it goes up, right, which compresses the air parcel. This compression does work on the air, adds energy, and makes its temperature rise. That's adiabatic warming. And crucially, because the air probably lost a lot of moisture back on the windward side, or maybe it's just descending below the level we're...
All right. Many thanks for listening to this free part of the ATPL Theory podcast. If you want to continue learning and access the full comprehensive guide, go to my Patreon at patreon.com/ATPLtheory or my Hero at herohero.co/ATPL. That is patreon.com/ATPLtheory or herohero.co/ATPL. Wishing you all the best